Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, I do hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. This is episode, number 71. Today on the podcast, I was very privileged to have on the show as a guest, Caleb Harris. He is a author, filmmaker, blogger, to name one of the few skills he has. I believe this is the start of something special, and I think we'll be able to see this guy's name in lights in the near future. Anyway, sit back, enjoy the podcast, enjoy the show, and yeah, if you have a moment or two, please take out a subscription and have an awesome day. Peace.
Great.
Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors. Wherever you are in the world, I do hope you're having a good day. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. This is episode 71. Today, I am privileged. I am honored to have Caleb Harris on the podcast today. He is an author, filmmaker, and blogger, to name just a few of his skills. Anything else, he might have to take me out. But nevertheless, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. Doing very well.
You are, what can I say? You are almost quite a renaissance man. Author, filmmaker, blogger. What else do you do? Or what else, or should I say, what else don't you do?
I don't fix cars. Nope, I let other people fix my car, because if I fix my car, then I'll break it. And it's one of those things where I like to just crawl before I walk. So that's why I'm always able to do a lot of things, but it's always practice makes perfect. But when it comes to my car, I do let the professionals take care of that. But that will be something I'll be trying to learn myself over the next couple of years.
So future mechanic as well. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm liking it. What do you drive at this present time?
Right now, I drive a Chrysler 200, and it's a 2014 model. And I just got it about a year ago. Drives pretty well. I like it. Got no problems. Very simple for me. So I like the car.
Perfect. So, like, this is the thing. As I said, yeah, you're an author, filmmaker, blogger. What was the first thing? What sort of did put this spark in you to get out there and really go at it for under three different waves? What was it?
I think it was just boredom. I've always been very a creative person. So whenever I'm talking to somebody or if I'm doing something, I always have to just keep busy in some kind of way. And I've never been able to be one of those kind of people where I could just do one thing. That's why I can make films, I do blogs, sometimes I do videography. I always do all these things. I always want to keep myself busy, and I always enjoy creating things. So if I'm not creating something, then I just get really bored and I just don't really feel too good about myself.
I see. Enjoy creating things.
You
Yeah. So this is the thing. With regards to, let's say, the filmmaker. When did you start getting into film and you went, hey, you know what? I like watching film. I want to make one.
Yeah, I started getting into film when I was very young. I didn't write an actual screenplay till I was like 16 years old, and I still haven't put that screenplay into practice. I'm going to give it a little bit more revision, and I think in the next couple of years I'm going to work on that. But I dropped a documentary called Help Us, and it's basically about the heroin epidemic that was going on in my town of Enfield, Connecticut. And so ever since I was 16 years old, I even studied this when I was in college. I just always liked the way that films could just take you away. It's just something about watching a 2-hour film or a 1-hour film, or even if it's 3 hours, if it's really good, it just takes you away from everything and puts you into your own little world, which is very fascinating to me.
No, taking you away from your world.
No.
That, it's you decided to do a documentary in Enfield, Connecticut. I have to say Enfield, Connecticut, because as I mentioned before we started, there is Enfield in London. Connecticut, Enfield, Connecticut. The heroin epidemic in Connecticut. How did you sort of gather the resources to actually get this film underway?
Well, I talked to the cops. They were one of the kind of people, and the director at the time who actually helped me out with this. He was also the director and the executive producer. His name was Comey Buono, and he had told me that one of his cousins had died from a heroin epidemic, and he was talking about it, but I think he didn't want to actually like do the idea. So it was more his idea, and I kind of capitalized on it because it was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do it. Why not? And so I talked to a couple cops. I talked to a couple of like counselors. I talked to other people as well. And I basically just gathered as much information from his little library, and I basically put the whole thing together. It's a 20-minute documentary, so I think I did a pretty good job on it.
Wow, 20-minute document. Like, this is the thing. Like, you see people like throw up videos here, there, and everywhere, like YouTube, like TikTok. Like, I know this is very, like, very different, Vimeo, but like to like go, okay, yeah, speak to someone, go, yeah, I would do a documentary, but then you're like, oh, if you're not going to do it, come on. It
Yeah.
like it needs to happen. Like, come on, I'll
Mhm.
do it. So, like, was it just you yourself, or was it a case of you managed to gather in a crew of people together?
My crew was like on and off because I learned about like with film, like you could get people, and then sometimes people don't show up, and sometimes you're just running on the fly. So with my crew, I want to say I had like 5 people, but I was the director, the writer, the producer. I played multiple hats. I had to jump on camera, I had to get my own B-roll, but I didn't mind it because I was keeping busy and it was keeping me out of trouble. And I basically was doing the better good. So I basically just followed the purpose and went all in basically, and it was hard, but I think the payoff came out pretty well.
The better good and like the payoff. Like, what when you say the better good, like, could you sort of go into that a little bit deeper?
Yeah, like the better good is now people realize because whenever you watch the news, they always a lot of them talk about the problem, right? So since a lot of them talk about the problem, not too many of them want to talk about the solution. Like the goal of my documentary was to show like, okay, we know there's something going on, but we're actually doing something about it. We're not just ignoring it. It's about getting the resources and finding the right people. But I gave people an opportunity to see, okay, well, there's drop boxes around, so you could just drop off the drugs and you will not be charged by any means necessary. There's also counseling and therapy sessions in Enfield for anyone who has a drug addiction. And most importantly, there's always somebody to talk to.
Mm. And like, with this, did you see after your video, like, oh, sorry, after your documentary came out, was
Right.
like, did you see a sort of immediate uptake with some of the drop-off places you were talking about, and people like increasing numbers going to counseling, or was it more subtle?
I think it was a combination of both, but I definitely want to say that it was more subtle. I definitely believe that I don't see too many people talking about like the heroin epidemic in Enfield since like 2016, and right now it's 2020, and it seems like it's been going down a bit. So I think that my documentary had a part of it. Other people had a part of it as well. I think like we all worked together. It wasn't just me, but we all worked together and we started to come up with an actual solution. And solutions always work because when you have solutions, everything becomes a lot better.
Mm. No, I can imagine like being part of a solution. Like, that is like, you know how people go, you can change the world, you can influence and like make changes in someone's life just by doing this
Right.
and the other. It's one of those things, if you say it to someone, they go, yeah, sure, yeah, you're right, yeah, I can make the changes. God, yeah, thank you very much, I
You
feel
know.
better. But you kind of never kind of believe it, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
how did that feel to you when you like you did the documentary and were okay, wow, I really did make an effect, I really did make a change to my local community? What was that like?
It feels like it was a weight off of my shoulder because I'm basically just a regular guy, just your simple everyday introvert who basically can talk when I need to and sometimes just silent when I want to be. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I did something and now people are starting to pay attention to me and like people are asking me more questions. And now it has at least, I want to say over 1,000 views right now, but also people are still talking about it to this day, which is I'm very thankful for that. Just very a humbling experience to know that you actually solved the problem.
Hmm. Like, so I can imagine this is something which like doing that and like being such a, well, a challenging experience as well as a positive experience. Like I can only imagine that something which would light a fire in you to certainly do more with regards to film. Like, was there any other films you did after this, or was it a case of you did that documentary and now you're sort of trying to set things up for the future?
Yeah, I did one documentary, and then later on, I wanted to study more of like mental health issues. So I decided to go right back into writing books again. So I recently have published a book called "Suffering in Silence," August 2003, which deals with the main character named Ricky Johnson, and he's basically going through his own complex. I definitely want to say coming of age story, even though he's like 27, because he still thinks like an adolescent teenager, which
Mm.
is the problem with a lot of young men around my group, is that they're still thinking with their, down there sometimes, and they don't actually want to think with their brains a lot. So he's one of those people who needs a lot of help in that department.
Yeah, no, trust me. I think every guy uh, goes to that stage of that's like,
Yeah.
yo, how you thinking? I'm thinking well. What do you want to do?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yep.
I understand. So, like, this is the thing. Like, from what I can see, you've done 3 books. So it's like 3 books. Okay, look, 2, yes, I can definitely get on with, and the vegan book, I'm sorry, I like it's like there's
Understandable.
there's, there's part of me which is just like going, yeah,
Right.
I,
Yo.
it'll be a long time before I change on that side of things. But like, yeah, but how long did it take you to do like Suffering in Silence?
I felt like forever because I was doing this book since like 2018, and I when I got a new job, like I transferred over from being like a janitor and a photography assistant to being a paraprofessional at a school, and like when the teacher is not there, I could actually substitute teach sometimes. So I was doing a combination of the two. So I was like very busy. I didn't make too much time. So literally, I'm working like an 8 to 3, and I'm going right back to bed. And like sometimes I'd hit the gym, and I was like, damn it, I don't have any time to write. So I would have to write more on the weekends. And like years later, it's like, okay, I know this book is here. I gotta finish it.
Yeah.
Let me get it done. So it took me 2 years to write that book.
Holy-
Yeah.
it's like a 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
wow. Like, this is the thing. I think what I often see is like we always see the sort of end product in society. It's like
Right.
this person's come from nowhere and everything like this. But the sort of like day in, day out, the hard knocks of it all. Like you like working as a janitor, as a photo assistant, then basically
Yeah.
working as a teacher assistant. And then like you're just like going, all I've got is the weekends. And then
Mm-hmm.
to still maintain that focus to still come out of a book after 2 years. It's
Yeah.
like like if you had say 30% more time to yourself, what do you think your limits would be?
Damn, I don't know. I think I'd probably just be playing like basketball or something, just meditating, just trying to keep sane. But basically, I'd probably take more of that time to try and write more, to be honest, because I don't really do too much. I mean, I used to do the whole like bar and club scene, but
Mm.
now I'm older now. I'm just not feeling that kind of scene no more. I want to be more productive and just basically. I started realizing like that whole scene is just so boring and repetitive, and like I just can't keep doing it anymore. So I decided to transfer into just writing more.
I see. Like, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 26.
26.
Yo,
That's where the change normally happens. Trust me.
yeah,
Trust me. It's
yeah,
like you're 26. You've got time on your side, and like
right.
you're more productive. That is always a good like. It's good to hear because time is a precious commodity we never get back. And
Hmm.
like we're like with doing like suffering in silence. Better luck next time, Daryl. Uh, yeah, 2 years for the silence book. And how long did it take you to do better luck next time, Daryl?
Yeah, surprisingly, since that book was like, I want to say like 30, 33 pages or so. So that book didn't really take me too long. That took me about, I want to say, somewhere between 6 months to a year. So when I wasn't a janitor, when I wasn't a photography assistant, I was able to put a little bit of time into, actually getting that book done. it
Mm,
did take a while, but I was able to get it done in 2018.
okay. And like with the sort of writing, what is your sort of process to get this like books done? Like I know, like well, patience is definitely one of the things there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely that. I don't really have like a structured like Stephen King kind of like, process. It basically just comes to mind. Like I'll literally sit down, I'll write ideas on a piece of paper and then revisit it like 2, 3 weeks later. And then I'll just pick one at random and start writing it. Like that's my like random style. Some people say, well, that doesn't really work, but well, it worked for me. So I keep doing it.
I see. Like I see. So is it going to be a case of you mentioned Stephen King and his kind of methodology of
Right.
like I know Stephen King's sort of methodologies ever so slightly, so I can't really sort of go into it terribly. Like, but he was like, yeah, if you want to write about cowboy like stories, you write about cowboy stories all the time. If you want to do like mafia, you write about the mafia all the time. And like,
Right.
the whole thing um, is it gonna like is your sort of novels more sort of how to say slightly autobiography like, or is it a case of you are just dealing with one particular subject matter right now and you're sort of looking to do a number of different things in the future?
Right now, when it comes to books, it's going to be a combination of like fiction and like autobiography and nonfiction as well. So I'll be into those three things. And the thing about Suffering in Silence is it's going to be an ongoing series. So the next book, I'm going to focus on another character who's dealing with his own mental health issues as a young kid. So that's going to be just an ongoing series. And I hope to complete 10 books over the next couple of years. I don't have an actual dateline, but I want to say I'd like to get all 10 books done by at least 2024. That's attainable, but I'll definitely have to work a little bit harder. But I definitely feel that that's possible for me.
10 books by 2024, churning them out. Okay. So,
Yeah.
like, so a mission right there. Will you have a
Mhm.
sort of name for the series for all 10 books?
Yeah, the whole series will just be Suffering in Silence, and there'll be a new title. Like with the first book is August 15th, 2003, and
Mm.
then it'll just be another title for the next one.
Oh, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, you mentioned mental health a couple of times with regards to our conversation so far. Like
Right.
mental health, like how would you say mental health for you is like a good thing, bad thing? What's been the sort of your experience with
It used to be a bad thing for me because, like around, I want to say like 2018 is, I told you before, like I was always at like the bars and the clubs and all. And I was always there just drinking so heavily all the time, like, trying to party with all the women and like trying to chase whatever I could get. And I always knew right from wrong. Like my mother always taught me right from wrong, but it was one of those things where like I never could understand it because like obviously my father wasn't in my life all the time. So, I didn't have a lot of male guidance, but I had some. But I was like, okay, I'll just have my fun and, I'll just chill out and I'll be fine because I'm like this invincible 21-year-old and nothing can touch me. And then as I get older and I'm like, oh my God, my body feels terrible. I'm miserable. I'm cranky. And like, I hate this lifestyle so much. But like, I keep going and keep rallying on. Like, my friends keep saying, hey, can we go to the bar again? I'm like, no, no. And I think after, I was 24, I cut out all the drinking, I cut out all the marijuana, any kind of like supplements or anything like that that was questionable to my health. And I went sober. That's what I decided to do. And I decided to just, focus all my attention and into positive things.
it? No, like this is a thing. Like I say everybody like they go like everybody generally goes through the same process you go through, but there's
Right.
like there is a couple of times I would say everyone has a sigh moment when you're out and
Mhm.
about, you look around and it's like,
Yeah.
here
Like
I am.
I'm getting too old for this and I'm still like in my 20s.
Well,
It's yeah. Oh man, it was yeah. I had so many side moments, so many, and I remember I would like try to tell a couple of my friends about them, but I was like, well, I don't want to come across as like that guy who was like ruining the fun. So I would just bottle it up, just take another drink, and I was like, what? Why am I doing this? And then I was finally just able to say, all right, enough's enough. I got to stop doing this.
yeah. So you're a young man, but old soul.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. That's it.
Ah, excellent. Well, well, this is the thing. So with that, you stop the drinking, you stop like smoking, you, as you said, you went sober. Like,
Right.
so from there, what was there any other sort of change to sort of help you focus on like basically getting the books done and like turning
Yeah.
your
So
around?
basketball helped out a lot, and meditation helped out a lot as well, because that helped me just to not really think about the bar life and the club life, and most importantly, like with basketball and meditation, it helped me actually relax more and actually keep my mind focused to actually write. So it was those two things that helped me out a lot, and also, I've been trying to hit the gym a little bit more. I've been getting a little bit little more consistent in the gym as of late. Before, obviously when you're drinking that heavily, the last thing you're thinking about is the gym. That's just it. And like I was like 195, and now I want to say I'm 160. So I definitely lost a lot of weight because most of it was just from the liquor anyway. So definitely feel a hell of a lot better doing all those three things.
Ah, sweet, excellent. So, trust me, yes, like getting up in the gym early morning, like I've witnessed many a person who's being slightly hungover, trying to
Hmm.
eat and try to get their reps in. Doesn't really work at all.
Nope, not at all.
Like you mentioned basketball and meditation. Like the reason why I'm just like sort of inquiring more about this is because they are quite two sort of different activities on the extreme, because basketball is like, yeah, go, go, go. And meditation,
Yeah,
it's,
meditation is like just slow down. Yeah, it's different.
yeah.
But like I think the thing about basketball is like, I've always been fascinated with like basketball. Like my team's the Boston Celtics. Like I'm a big fan of Paul Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
I was very like heartbroken when they traded him away to the New York Nets. I still to this day think they shouldn't have done that. That's just my little personal 2 cents on the matter. But the thing with about basketball is when you're running so fast all the time, you still need to train your mind to slow down because you have to think about it when you're shooting free throws.
Mm,
Free throws, you have to stay still. So I think that's the reason why like a lot of guys in today's basketball game aren't really good at free throws because they're so used to moving so fast, and like the game is just so fast, and I'm not really too sure as to why, but I can kind of compare it to the world and how we all just don't want to slow down. And I think us slowing down and us just catching a minute and just thinking about things, we'd make less mistakes, and our mental health would just overall be so much better.
mm, mm. So, and yeah, so basically slowing down, taking time, like basically going through the processes of one's mind so you can
Yep.
make it better. Well, like put it this way, like when you said people can't like do their free throw shot. Oh my god, their
Yeah.
free throw tongue's gone off into another dimension. Like the only thing what
Oh
came to
man.
mind was free throws. Shaq can't do it again.
Shaq is awful in free throws. Absolutely awful. Oh man.
That's built like a damn tank, even till this day.
Yep.
Put it up there. Okay, put it up there again. Now, but
Yep.
yeah, so meditation. I get this feeling in 20, like 15, 20 years time when you hit your 40s that you'll be most probably be doing yoga or something like that. I can see you doing that, like getting that
I
sort
can
of.
see myself doing that. Yeah, that would be something. Just doing like meditation and yoga every day. I could definitely see that because I see myself just becoming a lot more calmer and just basically shedding my old skin of my early 20s. So I basically just won't have like the patience for all of this like go, go, go mentality. I'll do my best to just slow down and just catch my breath.
Mm. I like that. Like, so with that, like, sort of bringing you back to the film side of things. So, who was like your sort of influences for films?
It was a combination of people. It was Dario Argentino, Spike Lee, Alfred Hitchcock, and yeah, it was Wes Craven as well. Those are all the guys I was fascinated with. So I was always into like things that always seemed real, but they were actually still fiction. and I was always into horror as well. So it was a combination of those two things. And I've always believed in the key word of like realism. Like we know it's fiction, but you want people to actually believe in it. Like you want people to actually believe, like, okay, this person's going to go after this person. This person's going to do this, that, and the third. But like, you know, it's still fiction, but you want to get wrapped up in the story. And that's what I think true storytelling is when it comes to fiction stories.
Like I was speaking to a screenwriter, like slash producer. He might become a director in the future, and like the whole thing is, he talked about the different sides of the business with like Hollywood and making films and everything like this. And he said he didn't like ever foresee himself being a producer. Like, do you see yourself like becoming ultimately a screenwriter, producer, director? What would, like, if I said open one of these doors and it'll lead you down like one of these paths and you could choose, which way would you go, do you reckon, at this present time?
I, I think I'd definitely just be the screenwriter. I think whenever I just write, like when I'm done with a story after I've edited it over and over again,
Mm,
I'm the kind of person where it's like, I don't want to look at this anymore. Like let them just deal with it. Like I know they're gonna change things, but as long as they keep it as original as humanly possible, then that's cool. But I don't want to be like, because Spike Lee, he does a lot. Like he pulls off, like he could pull off multiple hats, and like I was able to do that when I did my documentary, but now thinking about it, like I'd rather just be the screenwriter.
mm. Okay, right. So what would be like your next big screen uh, writing debut? Well, not debut, but the next big screenwriting project.
Definitely had to be something revolving around like revenge horror. I'm very big on that kind of stuff. Like, I don't believe people in real life should like, take the law into their own hands or anything like that. But just the concept and the psychology behind it is just so fascinating to me. Like the fact that somebody was just screwed over and you're gonna go out and they're gonna get their revenge. Because I remember I recently watched this film called The Final from 2010. It's like your typical high school film, like the jocks are messing around with the outcasts, and obviously the outcasts just had enough. Like, we're not going to sit here and take this anymore, so we're going to get back at you guys. So they set up a party, got them all drunk, and got them all drugged up, and they basically tortured them the whole entire time. And obviously, I wouldn't do this in real life, obviously, because I'm not that kind of guy. But the fact that they went on and said, you know what? I'm so tired of this. It clicks into the human mind. Like when you mess with somebody so many times, there's only so many times that they could actually let you keep messing with them.
Mm. Yeah, like this is the thing. When I think revenge horror, the thing what pops into my mind, and I think it's because you mentioned Stephen King earlier, is Carrie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Carrie. That's one of my favorites. Yep.
basically going through it all, and you're like, yeah, you're just seeing that girl like who's been bullying her, bullying
Hmm.
her. You're just like going, okay. And when she
Like they
switches,
dropped blood on her. Like what was she supposed to do? It's one of those kind of things.
yeah, and then it all comes back. You're just like going, oh my
Yeah.
god. But yeah,
Hmm.
love that. It's like
Yeah.
now I feel like I need to watch that again. I think
Yo.
I have to check out Amazon later. But yeah,
Hmm.
revenge horror. Oh, interesting, interesting. Would there be any particular stars you would be looking for to be in that?
Mm. I don't know the particular stars I would want. Maybe I don't know. I'd have to give that a little bit more thought. I know guys like Denzel Washington. He's not really into horror, but if I could like give a pretty good pitch, I could see Denzel doing something like this. Going from the good, outstanding citizen, and making his own little heel turn, and basically just stabbing some people in the back. And
I
I
can't.
don't know. I'll have to give that some more thought.
You can't get Denzel. Get his son.
Mm. His son's really good. His
Yeah,
son is really good. I
yeah.
saw him in that show Ballers. That was really good.
You know what? I only watched about 3 episodes of the first seasons of all this, and
Yep.
I was like watching it. I was like, couldn't really kind of get into it. I don't know why. It just didn't hit the right notes for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, but uh, one of the things I would, I'm interested to know, Tenant. Would that be a film? What would get you back into the cinema right now?
I think so. That definitely would be like the film that would get me back into it.
Because wait, Isn't it out this weekend over in America? Or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think the movie theaters still in America are closed. I don't know when they're gonna like open them up back again, but I'm excited because I've been itching just to see really any film. It doesn't even matter what it is. Like I just want to see a film. Like me and my buddy, we always go to film and we always critique everything, but like that's like our bonding time. Like we always go to the theater.
Mm.
So I'm itching to go back as soon as possible.
What was the last film you saw in the cinema?
I think it was now I don't remember the exact film I saw. It was I think it was Avengers, the newest one that came out.
I'm trying to think what.
Well, yeah, it's been a while. It was either that or Halloween. Like I haven't been to the theater that long, but I don't know. I think I haven't been to the theater so long, and the coronavirus has me missing the movie theater even more. So I don't know. I don't remember the last one I watched, to be honest.
For myself, it was Ford versus Ferrari.
Hmm.
Good film. Good film. Like, like okay. So with this, okay, we've touched on your films and we've touched on your books, but like, yeah, with all the things you're doing, working, book writing, like, yeah, film, like writing film scripts and such,
Yo.
like, where did you get the time to like go, yeah, you know what I need on my life is adding a blog to it.
Oh man, that is yeah. That started when I was like in 2017. I had just graduated college from the University of New Haven with a communications degree. So I was like, I might as well just start blogging too. And I would write just like basically just common sense things, and it turned more into common sense into more into like mental health. So basically, it ties into like accountability, transparency. It mentions a couple of stories that I did in my past, and I try to give people like the actual problem and give them the solution to it because I'm always a very solution oriented kind of person. So I definitely enjoy doing my blog on popular opinions, and I always post every Monday. I do have another one coming up this Monday. I'm also looking for guest bloggers, so if anyone wants to, fill in that hat for Wednesdays, that'll also be available as well.
Ah, excellent. So yeah, anyone out there who wants to be a guest blogger, by all means, step in. Yeah, get in
Mm-hmm.
contact with this man here. Mr. Harris. Yeah, I'm liking it. So with that, like it went, as you said, it went from just common sense to mental health and being accountable for things. So what would be some of the things you would say advise or write about in the blog, for example?
For example, I definitely believe in just treating people the way they want to be treated because I know a lot of people. I have seen this a lot. Like a lot of people don't know what they're actually doing. Like I remember, like there's times where there was one of my friends where I had to literally explain to him. I didn't know why I had to explain this to him, but it was one of those things where I had to explain to him, like, look, you can't keep borrowing money from all of us all the time. Like you have to pay us back. Like that's just what you have to do. But he didn't understand that because he grew up around people where they basically just borrowed money, and they just paid you back when they felt like it. So instead of just getting mad at him and giving him an attitude, I had to sit down and explain to him, like, it's all about morals and principles. Like, I can't have you as my friend if you don't pay me back. So it was one of those things where I had to like sit down and tell him that. But he did pay me back though. He's getting better with money.
Okay, well, like this is the thing. Like, if a good sort of not talking to, but educational moment comes up for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, yeah, it's good to talk because, like, yeah, if you didn't have that conversation, how long would it have been before he went? Wait a second, I need to
Yeah.
fix myself up. What am I doing? And like, yeah, um, I'll eventually pay back that small GDP of a small country back to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I go off to
Yep.
uh, like some podcasts. Like, yeah, here's the thing: podcasts have like you don't have a podcast at this present time. Is that correct?
Well, I just made a podcast. It's one of those things where I've just been like, so I've had so many hats, but I decided I've been trying to get more into talking. I feel like I don't do enough talking as much. So I want more people to hear my voice as well. So I recently just dropped my episode of Shall We Continue, which is on my website, which is my link tree, CHARR8. So if you just go down to that one, it's Shall We Continue. My first episode is out there, and I just recently made the website, but it basically talks about, it goes into more of the things I did more in my past, and I just go into more storytelling mode. But I also just uncover topics that not too many people always talk about as well. So it's basically an ongoing process. I don't know when the next episode is going to drop, but hopefully it'll either be tomorrow or next month. I'm going to try and drop at least 2 episodes a month. That's going to be the goal.
2 episodes a month. Okay, great. Now, this is the thing. What I would simply say to you: consistency, consistency, consistency. If you
Right.
2 episodes a month, like say it's the first and the 15th, or like something like that, to keep people
Mm-hmm.
connected with it on the regular, I think that'll be it'll work out really well for you. Yeah.
Right.
One of the things I think many people, when they start doing podcasts or something new, is the like lack of consistency. But you've demonstrated this with
Yeah.
regards to your blog, bringing that out every Monday. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So let me ask you this: like, if I could give you the power to sort of like make like any sort of change manifest in the world, what sort of change would you bring forward?
I would definitely talk about the elephant in the room. The give yourself a deep look in the mirror. So if it could be like something like the Candyman effect, where you see yourself in the mirror and you basically see that actual image of yourself, and it's that bad image of yourself. The inner demons, the insecurities, all of those things, and every time you keep looking at that mirror, you're gonna keep seeing those things unless you change. So that would be a cool power to have. Like, I know a lot of people want to be like invisible and all these other things, but I'd like to just have the power to just show people what they've been doing and actually make some changes.
Ah, well, with Candyman powers, well, less hook, we hope. But yeah,
Without the hook, yeah, without the hook.
uh, I like that. And when you say mirror, like, yeah, the thing what comes to mind, I don't know if you know a guy called David Goggins. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's got this thing called the accountability mirror, where basically
Hmm.
he puts up all of the things, like if he needs to do this, needs to do that, and yeah, keeps him focused to work on bringing those things, well, taking them down one by one. Yeah,
Right.
I can that. Oh, that's neat. Oh, with that, I was going to say something. Hmm. So with this, what do you think you're going like? You're sort of you're 26 now.
Right.
What is your plan for yourself? What do you want to achieve by the time you're 31?
By the time I'm 31, I hope that I'm just, writing full time. Because, like, right now, I'm a paraprofessional. I also do a couple odd jobs, helping out the family, selling things out of my house. But basically, by the time I'm like 31, I just want to make this a living. Like, I don't mind working for people. I never had a problem with work ethic, but it just seems as if, I don't know, maybe it just seems as if creatives don't fit into the current work world of today. The current work world of go, 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 fast, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. Because I was watching like this documentary, I want to say a couple of days ago, and it was, I forgot what the title was, but it was a UK documentary, and it was basically about 5 people. They were around the ages from 25 to 50, and they were basically talking about how they were just burnt out because they worked so hard and they basically didn't have much to show for it. So one guy literally he got fired because he was working for a job for 25 years, like 25 long years for a company, and then he just decided, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't sleep. I can't even count to the number 10. Like, that was, I remember hearing that. I was like, I don't want to be like that.
Hmm. So you don't want to be like that. You like well, be anyone who is like so mentally drained they can't actually count up to number 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is that's never a good thing. Like
Hmm.
this is the thing. Look, I would say this, like with regards to yourself, like with you sort of doing your writing, doing the documentary, like and the other jobs you're doing on the side,
Right,
I think that's going to be it, you've got the foundations to go forward, and you know this. You must know this yourself. Like I think you're not going to end up being one of them, and like yeah, if you feel like you're going down that path, to put a sort of stop on that and go, wait a second, no, that remember that documentary, it scares the living bejesus.
right.
Um, like it's just so easy to drift that way. It's so easy
Mm,
not to sort of like follow like what you want to do. Like because like here's the thing. People go, yeah, you get a family, you get this, you get that, and get this, and like, yeah, there's never enough time to do what you want to do. Like the
right,
simple fact of the matter is, there is the time. It's just a case of maintaining that energy to make sure you can push forward and make sure you can show up each day. That is the trick of it all. And like with that, I've seen friends who've like gone, I've got this dream, I want to do this, and them sort of fall by the wayside and get burnt out themselves. And it's never a good thing because you like look at them and go, you could have been so happy, you could have had so many things. And
yeah.
uh, do you feel you see that in some of your friends, which are like coming up, like with you right now?
Yeah, I see it in a couple of them, but not too many of them because I know some of my friends. It's just I was telling a friend, I think a couple of days ago, he works at a warehouse, so he's considered the essential worker. And I was like, dude, don't work too hard. Like, just do your job, go home. Like, you don't owe the company anything. Like, you just don't. And you could always find another job. But, like, you're doing the best that you could do. And like, definitely don't put all that pressure on yourself. And a lot of guys are it's a lot of tensions going on because of the coronavirus because we have people that are working from home and the essential workers. Well, a couple of my friends, a couple of them think that they're just lazy or they just keep complaining about unemployment and all this other stuff. So that's messing with their mental health as well because they're worrying too much about that when they should just be worrying really just about themselves and their own mental health.
So, how have you been handling the lockdown lifestyle over in America? Because Connecticut is right next door to New York State, and
Yo,
being, how can I say, New York has been, it was absolutely insane for
hmm
one of my best friends, like brother from another mother. He lives
right.
upstate in New York. Poughkeepsie.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
It's about an hour away from New York City, up north.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yep.
So yeah, how have you been sort of dealing with like the lockdown world?
Man, I just accepted it. I was like, when we go back, we go back. I'm supposed to go back to my school in 3 weeks, but right now they've just been paying me from home, and that's what I've been doing. So we've been locked down since like March. I want to say 16th. So it's been a couple months, and it's basically just me just relaxing. Going to the gym, just keeping up with my writing, promoting my book, and doing a couple of podcasts, and just coming up with different ways to just keep myself sane, making more money and things like that. So yeah, I just come to terms with it. And I just try to stay away from all the crazy people who just keep freaking out because some people are freaking out because of masks and vaccines. And I literally just stopped watching the news as much. Like I'll watch it for about an hour. I'm like, you guys are all just reaching now. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I hear one thing, like people are saying wear your mask. Now people are saying don't wear your mask. Like now we have this vaccine coming out. Hey everyone, take this vaccine. And it's just too crazy to get into.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's just say all governments around the world have not handled this well. it's like
Yeah.
it's like just simply go, yeah. Any government which is trying to get on its high horse, like going, we've done better than this country or that country. No, let's stop. It's like
Yeah, the ego thing.
yeah, stop it right now because it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're just going to drive everyone crazy. Uh,
hmm
hmm. So, in the next, say, year or so, what have any projects coming up? And like, Are you going to write another book, or is it going to be another film, or like, hey, what's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year?
I think I'm going to focus a little bit more on the blog and the podcast. And as far as books right now, I don't have anything else like coming out, but I'll definitely, continue to like plot for the Suffering in Silence series. I'll probably explore more nonfiction. Maybe I'll make a memoir or something, but it's still up in the air.
A memoir, like at 20.
Yeah,
Come on now, like don't do a
I've
memoir.
thought about
No, don't do a memoir yet. Well, like you've got plenty of years left in you.
Right. It's either I would do it like around either I turn like 50 or 60 or at least, start plotting for it. Like at least get down a couple of the details, but I wouldn't release it anytime soon. I would just be, get into the working phase of it all.
Okay. So when someone's like, I'm going to write a memoir, there's going to be some adventures out there. Are you going to plan to sort of travel around the world? Is there any sort of countries you'd like to see?
Yeah, I'd like to visit Europe, the United Kingdom. Definitely want to visit Africa, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Those are the ones on my list. So I definitely want to get into traveling. I've definitely been, working really hard. Definitely want to explore something else except for the United States. So that's what I plan on doing for the next couple of years or so.
Ah, excellent. Excellent. Yes. If there was one thing, and this will most probably be one of my final questions, yeah, what would be one thing on your bucket list apart from travel?
Let's see. That's a good one. Now I'm like, I got to think of this one a little bit. Bucket list. What's something I want to do? Man, I haven't really given that too much thought. I think it's just it goes back to like, making a living off of my writing. That would just be on my bucket list. Or yeah, I think that would just be the one, just to make a living off of my writing. Because I've always been so passionate about this, and I feel as if, the working place world, we don't really get along too well. It's just basically me just biding my time. Basically, I want to live more of a minimalistic lifestyle. So maybe I'll like, live out in the woods because I've always been a big fan of like Henry David Thoreau and his lifestyle. He was always talking about minimalism, but he didn't actually like, code the name minimalism. It was more transcendentalism, living one with nature. And when I read Walden and I read, civil disobedience and all these other things, I've always been chasing after like that very simplified life. Like the quieter, the better. Too much noise is just way too much noise. So I may try to get out into the woods. May have a house in the woods one day.
You know what? I can see that with you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. I can see it. Like, yeah, just like in a cabin, internet connect,
Mhm.
and I just like just
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe
Like I'll go visit the world when I want to visit it, but not today if I don't have to.
uh, occasionally go hunting every now and then. Oh, sorry, no, not hunting. Like just like have a good
Sightseeing. Go sightseeing. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're a peaceful man, my friend. You're a peaceful man. I like that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Ah, like absolute last thing. What has been like the TV show or TV series or film which has actually kept you like going through lockdown?
Man, I definitely say it's been that UK show Skins. I really have a guilty pleasure for like those coming of age debauchery kind of shows because I could in a way relate to it, not on that dark of a level, but I really like just the characters. I can really identify with why they're doing the things that they're doing, broken household, still trying to figure out who they are. And I've always been a big fan of like that coming of age style. So I've been watching a couple of episodes of Skins. I've watched them so many times now, but I love those kind of things. I think my favorite character is Cook. He's that tough badass, but you could tell like deep down inside, he's got a good heart. It's just he's so misguided. But if he was like put in the right direction, he could just do so many things.
Oh, superb, superb.
So
Loving it. Like, you know what? Yeah, like Skins is a show which has been like that was like 10 years ago here in the UK.
yeah,
And like
uh-huh.
let's just say at the time when it was released, it was one of the more risque shows on
Hmm.
TV at the time. But yeah, many a person has a fond memory of that show. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, the United States tried to do a remake and it didn't click. It did not click at all. I'm like, someone told me because I what I did is I originally watched the US version. I'm like, this isn't good. So somebody said, go watch the UK version. I'm like, okay, this is 10 times better. I like this one a hell of a lot more. The other one was just, oh, I was like, oh, this is terrible. You know, sometimes we just, as Americans, we do too much. We just do too much.
There's certain things like, look,
Yeah.
things like America is great at many a thing.
Uh-huh.
Superb. Like, you know what? You are second to none in
Mm-hmm.
so much. But
Yo,
to changing over a British show into an American show, no.
it didn't work at all. Not at all.
Like, it's no, just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you very much for your.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you've been great. Like, can you tell people how they can find you, where they can find you?
Yeah, they can find me if they just type in my website, which is my link tree. It's linktr.ee, and it's a dash mark, and it's CHARRA. And that's where you can find my Instagram at Caleb Hates Cake, my Facebook, Caleb Harris, my blog, Unpopular Opinions. Like, it's all listed there on the website. So if you just go on that website, you'll definitely be able to check me out. I always post things basically every day. So if you're looking for any kind of like positivity, a way to keep on going, to stay calm during the coronavirus, I definitely believe I'm your guy.
Perfect. What I'll also do, I'll put that in the description as well so they can find you. Yeah. And yes, I've got to say once again, thank you for you coming today. You've been a superstar. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you to anyone who is still listening at this point in time. I want to say stay well, stay safe, be excellent, be cool, be fantastic, be all the you can be in this world and then some. Anyway, so I say goodbye to you all.
All right.
Peace.
Take care.
Oh, yeah. And we are.